Hi everyone, it's me, Rochelle, back again, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how and why you should forgive others, including yourself. First of all, just a little bit about what it actually means to forgive. When people talk about forgiveness, a lot of the time we hear forgive and forget, and I think the problem with that is people always say, well, how can I forget what someone's done to me? I can't just forget it happened. Forgive and forget doesn't actually mean that you have to forget all about it and never think about it again. But if you have decided to forgive someone, you can't keep bringing up their past mistakes. If you're still holding on to past mistakes, then you haven't actually forgiven that person, because forgiveness means letting things go. Also, just because you've decided to forgive and forget, it doesn't mean that things just automatically go back to how they were with someone. You can forgive somebody for something, but still bear it in the back of your mind. Obviously, you're not going to be bringing it up to someone every day, every time someone does something you didn't like. I knew you would do this. This is just like that time you XYZ'd. However, you can sort of use the past to guide your future. If someone's done something terrible to you and you've forgiven them for that, that's fine. But you can still sort of bear that in the back of your mind and just remember that about them as a person, what they are capable of. Just because you've forgiven someone doesn't mean that everything goes back to how they were. You can forgive someone and not have them in your life anymore. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you are going to become best friends with that person and you guys are now, you're in it forever, you're ride or die now. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness doesn't mean like we're in this to the end. Forgiveness just means you no longer hang on to that resentment or pain or anger that you had towards somebody. You are the one that has to live with your thoughts and feelings, not anybody else. We shouldn't hold on to pain, and we shouldn't hold on to hurt, and we shouldn't hold on to feelings of betrayal. It's not good for us in the long run. You can know someone, let them go, not have any contact in them, but still wish them the very best and still pray for them and want the best for them and forgive them and hold no hatred in your heart towards them, even though you don't have that person's phone number anymore. That's not to say that that's the only option. You can forgive someone and decide to just start over and have a clean slate. You can decide to forgive someone and then just start fresh and forget everything that happened in the past and just move on like you guys have just met and you're starting all over again. There are different levels of forgiveness because there are different levels of betrayal. Some forgivenesses might be small. Somebody ate your dinner that you were coming home to eat, you know, when you're really looking forward for that dinner, you're coming home, you didn't eat when you were out, you were saving up your appetite, you come home and your food is gone, someone's eaten it. That's a betrayal. That's a betrayal, but that's on the very small scale. No matter what the issue is, whether it's something small like the example I just gave or something huge, you need to forgive for you and not the other person. I read a quote once, I don't remember who it's from, but it said, not forgiving someone is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And I love that quote because it's just so true. Not forgiving someone usually hurts you more than it hurts the other person. People might not realise that they've hurt you as much as they have, or might not think that their actions were a big deal, or they might just be a horrible person and they don't care or seem to think about the hurt and the bad that they do. The other person may not even realise that they're not forgiven, or they may not even care. If you can't forgive someone, then you're most likely holding on to resent, to anger, to sorrow, to pain, hatred, like all of that. And that's building up inside of you. And that's all this negative emotion and all this negative energy in you. And that is who you are becoming. You will start becoming resentful. You will start becoming angry. Meanwhile, this person that you can't forgive is out there juveting, gallivanting, like doing their thing. They're not even thinking about you at home upset. At the end of the day, it's you that has to live with the feeling. Of course, there's some times where people want to be forgiven. They know they've done something wrong and you want them to forgive them. And there's hurt coming both ways. But when you don't forgive someone, you will never feel fine about it. You will never be content in your non-forgivingness. Like, it will always upset you a little bit or annoy you or irritate you, you not forgiving will just make you live in that moment that made you, what's the opposite of forgive? That made you need to forgive them in the first place. At the end of the day, we shouldn't let other people's actions affect us so deeply. If someone does something to us that hurts us, we don't need to hold on to that hurt, and we don't need to hold on to that pain or betrayal or whatever it is, because it's not good for us, and we shouldn't let other people have so much of an impact on our own lives. Like, our emotions and our feelings should come from us and not others. You can't let someone live in your head rent free. Forgiving yourself is just as important as forgiving others. There are many reasons we might need to forgive ourselves. It may be that we have caused pain onto someone else, or we've caused pain onto our own selves. A lot of the time, you know, as humans, we make mistakes. Like, we F ourselves over. We do something we shouldn't have done. We self-sabotage, or we're just mean to people, or we're just not nice. It happens. There's good and bad in everyone. Everyone has done something mean to someone at some point, and probably done loads of stuff to themselves that you just think, why did I do that to myself? Oh. And again, there are different levels to it. It could be that you broke someone's heart, or it could be that you cheated on your diet and you had half a pack of digestives when you said you were cutting out all sugar. There are many different things that you need to forgive ourselves for. And it's a really important trait to learn, because if we can't forgive ourselves, how can we expect to forgive others? And also, how can we expect people to forgive us if we can't even do it? When it comes to the more simple things we've let ourselves down on, like not going to the gym or whatever, we need to just remember that we make mistakes. We're lazy sometimes, we can't be bothered, we're thinking of the now and not tomorrow. Waiting for tomorrow is a mistake in itself, but that's a whole other video. Watch out. Yeah, we make mistakes, and we can do better if we want to, so we will want to. Like, don't hold things against yourself for too long if they're little things. When it comes to bigger things, however, and things that involve other people, these things can be harder to forgive ourselves for. We really get down on ourselves and start to believe that we're terrible people. But if you can look back at a mistake you've made and feel compassion or guilt, you deserve forgiveness. A lot of the time we think that we don't deserve to be forgiven because what we've done is so terrible. But if you can look back and have compassion over what happened and feel guilt or regret or learn from that mistake, then you do deserve forgiveness. Why shouldn't you be forgiven just because you've made a mistake? Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's done something wrong more than once in their lives. If you learn from a situation and you want to be sure that you're never going to make that same mistake again, and you're never going to be that kind of person again, and you want to change who you are, of course you should be forgiven. And to forgive ourselves, we just need to see the growth in us and be honest with ourselves, be honest about why we did what we did and why we won't want to do that again. If at the end of the day, I just feel, if you're truly sorry, then you deserve. If you can recognize the wrong that you've done and you're truly sorry, then you do deserve forgiveness. However, just because you have decided to forgive yourself does not mean anybody else owes you forgiveness. Some people, they might do something to someone and then they're over it and they think, well, I said sorry, why don't you forgive me now? Like, what more can I do? Everybody has their own time, and a situation might affect you and another person differently. Okay, this happened last week and you were able to get over it the next day. You're fine with it now. You're sorry, you realize what you done was wrong. You're forgiving yourself. For someone else, it's going to take longer. They feel different about the situation. They see you differently now. They're not seeing if you're really sorry. They don't know if you mean it, blah, 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 blah. There's all these other factors that come into these things. And you cannot make someone forgive you, and no one owes you forgiveness. Although people should learn to forgive, nobody owes you anything. You cannot make people forgive you. You know, everyone has their own different reasonings and own perspectives. people see things from a different perspective. So how something played out to you will play out different to somebody else. And they will have their own reasonings and their own feelings and their own emotions over a situation that won't necessarily relate to yours. So you cannot tell someone when the appropriate time to start forgiving you or forgiving themselves is. People see things differently. And it happens in reverse. You might forgive someone for doing something, but they haven't forgiven themselves because they've seen the situation differently and they need to work at it. Everyone has their own time. Everyone has their own reasoning, and you can't rush things. Forgiveness doesn't just come like that. You can't just say, I'm going to forgive this person and then do it. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It's different. However you decide to forgive somebody is totally up to you. What works best for you, what works best in the situation and the relationship that you have. Forgiveness comes from the heart. So if someone has decided to forgive you, you should be grateful for that and appreciate that, and ensure that you do learn from your mistakes and you can regain their trust. From forgiveness comes betterness. But forgiveness is also something we need to do to grow and to move on with our lives and be better, happier. And at the root of life, happiness is one of the most important things. So don't waste your energy holding on to bad feelings when you can just let it go and move on with your life and be happy. We all deserve happiness, man. I hope you liked this video, and I hope you are inspired to forgive somebody after this video. I've forgiven myself for not washing my hair yesterday. Please like this video if you liked it, and please subscribe for further videos. As always, I have been Rochelle, and this is The Rochelle Show.